Hi Aquarius, how's everybody doing? So I have been getting a message repeatedly for the past couple days that there's going to be a sense, a degree of a return, maybe from somebody that we thought we had a terminal ending with, meaning this thing was not going to be brought back to life or that they were not going to come back into our life. And I'm getting that some of us may be getting in the category of false twin flames. Maybe some twin flames in general are getting back together, but I was getting strongly, at least for a particular group, Aquarius, that somebody that we ended an unhealthy cycle with, maybe multiple cycles with, is going to be returning and asking to engage, asking to collaborate, maybe work with you, depending on what you do, something to that degree. And I was getting a strong do not take this offer. If things ended amicably and you want to get back with somebody or have them back into your circle, then follow your intuition. I mean, with any decision, follow your personal intuition. However, if you had a cycle that was unhealthy with somebody and they're presenting in a way like maybe they've changed or worked on themselves, if it was something unhealthy, really pay attention to the red flags and if you want to invite that energy back into your life. Because I was getting like a strong warning energy to be very aware of this, and it was coming through very potently when I was pulling cards for myself. I was getting other downloads and whatnot when I was channeling all of that. So I don't know if it's going to come up in the reading, but it was just something that I felt was an important message to be sharing, especially as Venus is in pre-shadow, so there can be karmic returns of people, and also whoever we're meeting at this time, we are guided to take this slow. Things may not be exactly as they seem, so on and so forth. Before we get into this, I would like to set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. I don't know if you guys saw that. I went to pick up the deck and I have the Ace of Swords popping out for us. I'm hearing mystical truths. I hope that everybody is doing well. I'm happy to meet you here. I'm looking at the Six of Pentacles. I'm looking at the King of Pentacles, and I'm looking at the Six of Swords. We may be moving away from a situation. This can be a work situation where we felt like we weren't being compensated. Maybe not looking back after moving on. I'm hearing the breaking point. It was like something was going on and maybe you didn't feel like you were being compensated for something. Maybe you felt like you were giving more than you were receiving. This can be energetically as well. And maybe you're having a hard time realizing that there's something that you're being guided to move away from. Maybe preparing for this step, I'm getting. But I'm sensing a little bit of resistance to moving forward in a way. But I'm getting that if we're getting intuitive messages about leaving something because it's no longer in alignment, I'm hearing in resonance with our dreams, that we're being guided in a different direction and to follow that direction, okay? It's like being guided by your dreams and your ideals and knowing that you can have the things that you dream about, the things that you want. And I'm getting a big moving on energy from something. This looks like a pretty big cycle that's going to be ending for us, Aquarius. It's like preparing to move away from whatever situation this was. I'm getting to the notion that there's a degree of stepping into this place where we're ready to communicate and call things out, maybe more so than we even had been prepared to do before, maybe willing to do before. And I'm seeing that because we're recognizing how we want things to balance out, especially with being compensated for the time and energy that we're putting in. I'm getting that there may be another calling that we're being called towards, and I'm seeing that we may be getting intuitive nudges, things of that degree, that we're ready to move on now. For some of you, there may be a boss figure that's leaving a company as well. And I'm seeing that we are being guided strongly to move on from whatever cycles we no longer feel are in resonance with us and move towards the goals that we want to achieve, especially when it comes to compensation, for a sense of stability, okay? And also being brave and declaring what these dreams are of ours and feeling comfortable chasing those things in a realistic way. Because I'm getting us transitioning into a place where we're feeling more willing to speak up about things that feel necessary to us. I'm hearing as you wish. I'm looking at the Nine of Cups popping out over top of the King of Swords. Maybe we've been wanting to mention something but waiting for the right time to speak on whatever this is. It's like following this plan guided by your intuition. Maybe also transitioning to this place where we feel trusting of our intuition to lead us in the right direction. I'm looking at a brand new opportunity, something we've been hoping for popping out. It's like this new beginning that you've been waiting for and wishing for is now coming to fruition as you leave something else behind. I'm getting transition, that word. We may have been fearful about starting something new as well, like not knowing how this is going to work, but I'm seeing that in following our dreams and trying to quiet that voice that's telling us we can't do it, I'm seeing that we're making progress as far as managing things going on with anxiety, mental health, all of that. I'm getting the word naysayer. There may be people around us that are watching us pursue a type of dream that we have that we want to follow, and I'm seeing us very much being guided to be prepared for confronting these energies. Maybe people that are instilling doubt to a degree, or that is their intention. I'm seeing us being guided to be prepared to manage this and to also bring our truth to this situation in a way where we may not be shying away from opening up certain conversations and dialogues, and maybe ready to defend our dreams and what we're going to be pursuing. And this doesn't mean that we're not going to be affected by people, but it means that we believe in our dreams and our abilities enough to stand firm in this. And I'm seeing this really big sense of confidence with following our intuition and progress, traveling through this journey and reaching a goal that we've been looking to reach as far as our progress and us being driven by, again, our dreams, our emotional desires in a grounded way. And there's something that we realize too. It's like an epiphany moment of this understanding, realizing that when we follow our intuition and where we feel like we're being guided in a very, very deep, intimate sense, we're understanding that this is how we find our happiness along our progress that we make as we are in this dance of life. A happiness that we weren't able to find before, I'm getting. Maybe because we felt like what we were doing made ends meet, but it was mundane to a degree. And I'm seeing us really, I'm hearing the word electrifying as far as our dreams and our passions and what we want to go towards. And now I'm seeing that there's a type of bond that's coming to fruition now. This can be with a family member, maybe a sibling that we're getting closer with, maybe just somebody that we're meeting along the journey. I'm looking at Libra, the Two of Cups, and the Ten of Cups here. In the previous spread, I'm looking at Pluto. And that's it. We may be finding support in... I'm hearing the word ally. Hearing the word ally. Support in a relationship. Whether this be something romantic, something platonic, again, a sibling, a family member, something to that degree. It's like something begins to come together in a really lovely way. And whether this is our bond with ourselves or maybe another individual, I'm seeing that it helps us with carrying a sense of stress that we have, okay? Maybe we feel like there are a lot of responsibilities, something big expected of us, and I'm seeing that a sense of harmony is what helps us in regard to stress. It's like somebody comes in and kind of takes half of the burden away, where you may be working with somebody and you're sharing what's going on in your life or things that you feel stressed by or all of the facets of your day, something like that. And it brings you into a harmony with somebody. It's like developing a closer relationship with somebody by sharing something that may feel overwhelming if you're handling this thing on your own, okay? I'm hearing the word branching out. So maybe we're connecting with other people in a way that emotionally we feel supported by them. I'm hearing because they know what we're going through. And I'm seeing that this really eases the tension and it brings a sense of harmony to this process for us. I'm looking at the Lovers, Gemini, falling over justice. There may have been a situation where we were in a type of pair, a duo with somebody, and we felt stressed by that. And maybe in looking for something that spoke to us on a soul level rather than a physical level, it changed something dynamic for us. I'm going to pull more cards on this to see. Okay. I'm getting that by gathering people around you that you feel authentically on a soul level. I'm hearing the word based. Maybe soul-based connections. I'm seeing that this helps us with stress that we may have been feeling, and I'm getting too that it may be shining a light on situations where we were paired with people, whether that be in romantic pairings or something other than that. I'm seeing that it gives us clarity on on a particular dynamic that we used to be involved in, I'm getting, because I'm looking at over the Page of Swords, I'm looking at the Seven of Swords, okay? So maybe we're able to see that in the past, in dynamics we had been in, there had been situations where our trust had been betrayed, maybe where there were partners that we couldn't trust, things to that degree. And I'm getting like this kind of like a raising of a standard, because you're meeting people that you feel connected with on a soul level rather than on a superficial level, okay? Or maybe there had been things in your physical environment that presented as one way but didn't turn out to be as you expected it to be. And I'm seeing that connecting with people or with another on a soul level is helping you have the discipline. This is like meeting somebody that's a best friend, whether this turns out to be something romantic or not. This is like any type of best friend that you have a close relationship with. I'm seeing that this grounded relationship helps you to have the discipline to really manage any stress that you're feeling with either past relationships or new relationships, anything that could be of a romantic degree, and also to wait until the right type of romantic relationship comes along if that's something that you're looking for. If you're looking for something else, then maybe whatever else that dynamic is, okay? Because I'm seeing that without this support that we find either with another, identifying with some type of community, something like that, I'm seeing that without that support, we may be struggling more regarding romantic relationships or physical relationships, anything to that degree, okay? And at the end of the day, I'm seeing that we want harmony and we want union. And that looking at our connections and understanding that connecting with things on a soul level, I feel like all I keep saying is soul level, soul degree, like all of that. When we understand that having a bond in a relationship is something that happens from the heart chakra in a way where demographics kind of go out the window. It's like when you look into somebody's eyes, and I'm getting something about eye contact here, when you look into somebody's eyes and you feel like you know them and that they know you, it's a different type of bond and relationship than something purely physical that has no emotional support with it. Because I'm seeing that there's this type of relationship here that has a really profound sense of a bond connection, a soul connection, a soul tie that we feel with somebody. And I'm seeing that helps us preserve and build the strength that we need to make sure that we're not engaging and overwhelming in things that are just going to go awry, I'm getting. And also by not taking offers from people to engage in relationships that may look on the surface as if they have some type of harmony, but behind it, it's like these two characters here. Somebody that is dishonest in a relationship, somebody that doesn't have your back, the way that the Two of Cups is going to have your back, okay? And maybe understanding these relationships where you're like able to see what a real soul connection looks like and maybe a soul mate looks like, it gives you a different lens to see the lovers that didn't have that element to it, okay? So I'm looking at Gemini and Aries in that spread. And remember, if I'm calling out a zodiac, it can be somebody around you. It can also be that area of your chart. And mainly the focus is the description of energy. So don't get caught up in being like, well, that person's not an Aries or whatever. It's more so about the frequency being described than it is the particular zodiac. Okay. I'm looking at a karmic test. Guided to leave something behind, to move away from it. Towards truth, towards clarity. I'm also getting the word rigid. Maybe, I mean, an Aquarius as a fixed sign too. Sometimes we have a difficult time with change, with transition, as most people do, but especially with fixed signs. Sometimes it can be difficult to... It's mostly the transition. At least I know with myself, it was never that... Say I love being at my house and I have to go to school or something like that. My issue was never with going to school. I loved school, by the way. But my issue was never with going to the place that I needed to go to. It was always that transition, that like in-between space, where you have to get up and transition into this new space. It was like once I was in that place, I was very happy to be in that place, but I always struggled with the transition. And I feel like that's an example of the fixed mentality and having a difficult time embracing that type of change, where it may not be the actual change, but it's that transitional period, okay? I'm seeing us being guided to... I'm looking at Leo and Pluto here, as well as Mercury. Maybe there's something that we're being guided to change as far as a relationship, maybe moving away from a certain dynamic, because I'm seeing that there may have been a dynamic that we had with somebody that it is now the time to move away from this thing, okay? I want to pull more cards on it before I get specific and jump to conclusions. I'm seeing that it's really a test of our faith, too, to manifest a type of harmony. It's like conjuring up the things that we need to make this thing happen. And by accumulating, I'm hearing good karma. I'm also hearing the word humanity, okay? By accumulating what we need to bring this harmony into our lives, I'm seeing that there may be a certain relationship that we're being guided away from, okay? Anything that does not, I'm hearing carry honor with it. It's like anything that does not feel like it's something moral or something wholesome, okay? Because I'm seeing that judgment is being called, and it's like anything that's not in alignment with like truth and the highest good, I'm seeing is going to be exposed. And this is reminding me too, like when Venus goes retrograde, any type of healthy relationships that we have are not at risk of deteriorating. It's more so relationships that are out of alignment, that are unhealthy, things that are unstable. Those are the things that end up falling apart, okay? And I'm seeing us like transitioning into a place where we're finding the happiness when we look within, and maybe the happiness that we find when we're alone as well, and recognizing that we can be happy on our own. And that we don't need to rush into things, okay? I'm hearing the words false pretenses. And I'm seeing that this was a lesson too. Like in order to manifest the type of relationship that we wanted, okay? This card speaks on harmony. It speaks on like going through something that may have been trying in order to reach a harmonious state, like a marriage of the sort, okay? In order to manifest that, there were tests that we needed to complete, and things that we needed to, I'm getting relationships like as a big one here, relationships that we needed to move on from and not look back. And I'm seeing that this is an illumination as well of the happiness that we can find when we are alone and we don't feel the need to rush into things. And I'm seeing that us looking within brings us a sense of clarity, especially with understanding both the lesson why we were guided to move away from particular relationships, and also like what our standards are for these new relationships that we want coming in for us. And I'm seeing like there's a big epiphany moment that we have when we are by ourselves, like something huge that we realize, and something that's going to carry through into our future relationships and dynamics. I'm getting. And I'm getting too the sense of, we may have had relationships in the past that there were things that we needed to sort out but maybe couldn't put our finger on. And it's like when you have this time alone and you're by yourself to kind of figure this out and not like distracted by like all of the other stuff that's going on, and you pull into yourself, it's like there are key things that you realize, maybe shadow work that you're doing, maybe coping skills for yourself that you're addressing. It's like really really cutting any sense of codependency. I'm also getting something about urges, so maybe things that we feel impulsive about not engaging within, and really getting ourselves under control in a way where now we're in our purest form. I'm getting that looking at the Ace of Swords. It's like there's something that we have, there's a sense of ascension here where by being on your own, there's something that you've been able to gather that if there were other things in the mix going on, you may not have had the time to focus on this and do the work that was needed. And I'm getting very much like the go ahead now, as in maybe a lesson that we were being guided through, especially to be on our own, is now completed. Maybe getting in touch with our inner child, maybe doing work because of childhood trauma, stuff like that, and how it's led to the relationships that manifested in the past, and now what we want to manifest for the future, okay? From a grounded, wholesome, cleared heart chakra space. Okay, Aquarius, I'm being guided to cut it off here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy to meet you guys here always. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.